Okay, I don't want you to look like an egg. No, you're good. I don't want to look like an egg.
I had to get your bun in it.
I know, I literally hate having a bun because it looks like I'm bald.
Oh, not yet.
Bald is beautiful.
Bald is beautiful. Anyways, wine?
Yes, please. Say less.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Tylah, and today I'm with my friend Tiana.
Hello.
And we are going to enjoy some red wine and talk the talk. So, how are you?
I'm fabulous. It's a nice day out today. It's Sunday fun day.
I love Sundays.
So yeah, I'm doing good.
We're vibing.
We are.
So, that's good. So, got a few topics to talk about. So, we have been drinking a little bit of wine over the last 45 minutes or so. So, disclaimer. Just put that on the table now.
Please drink responsibly, friends.
Please drink responsibly. Pour a glass. Enjoy yourself.
Enjoy it Sunday.
Enjoy your Sunday.
We
enjoy
ain't got
your
no
Monday.
jobs. Everyone's unemployed.
Everybody's waiting on that unemployment check.
Right. You
So,
might as well. Enjoy
up.
yourself, sis.
Use that Trump stimulus check. Go get a bottle or two. It's fine. It's fine. Enjoy life. So, Tiana. France. Obviously, we live here.
We do.
Obviously,
it's still so crazy.
We're Americans.
Can you tell? Are we?
I don't know.
Is it that obvious?
Literally, people look at me, they're like, American. I'm like, yeah. Is it okay for you that I'm American? Oh, I was walking down the street like 2 weeks ago, and this guy literally like hears my friends and I, he goes, no, like in French, he goes, no, speak French, no English. I was like, no, it doesn't.
Oh my god.
Merci.
First of all, mind your own business.
Literally, like, you're sitting on the side of the street.
Right.
And you're gonna tell me not to speak French, like not to speak English? I'm with my friends. Like, can I speak?
Ew,
People
I don't
speak
like
every
that.
language here.
Literally every language.
And I can't
I've heard
speak-
so many languages that I'm like,
Yes.
that ain't French.
I hear German all the time.
I hear a lot of Russian too.
Russian too.
It's interesting.
So I'm like, can I speak my native tongue? Like,
Just say you can't speak English and go.
right? Like, are you
don't-
bitter?
Right. Do you want some lessons? Because I'll tutor you.
So speaking of people being just like overly judgmental on the street, like how is your like experience in France being black compared to America?
That's interesting. I feel like, I mean, there's definitely like prejudice and racism everywhere, but I feel like in France it's a lot more subtle. Like it's still definitely there, but French people are so hush hush about race, and they want to pretend like, oh no, like we don't see color.
Yeah,
like,
you're
we're
just
racist.
French.
Yeah, you're just French, but that's not true. Like
Yeah.
there's still racist people in France. It's just very more in the States. It's like more obvious, I feel like, than it is here.
Definitely. And here, like, if you're black in France, like, one, like, you're just French. Two, where are you from? Because people here, they, like, black people don't know where they're from. Like, they come from, like, somewhere, like, in Africa or somewhere where they, like, know exactly, like, their direct lineage a lot of the time. So they'll be like, oh, where, like, black people to me will be like, where are you from?
Where are your origins?
Where are your origins?
Every single person I've met here has asked me that question.
Yeah, where are your origins?
And that's not like a normal thing that people in America ask you, because nobody knows.
We don't know.
Most people don't know, because obviously like black people were brought against their will to the US, so a lot of people don't know their history. But here it's like everyone knows like where they come from, where their ancestors are from, and I think it's pretty interesting.
It's so weird, like, that you just, like, that history is lost, but here it's like so much a part of you, and people like really want to know like where you're from. I'll find out.
Yes, we will be finding out.
We will.
We'll be repping, period.
Literally will, and I will be going to my home country
Exactly.
once I find out. But I feel like, okay, so like racism here versus in America, how do you feel? Like, do you feel safer here?
I definitely feel safer here, yes. I haven't had, like I said, it's not as overt. So, I mean, I'm sure I've been judged by people, or like I've come in contact with racist people, but it's not something that you would ever really notice unless you were like actively looking for it.
Exactly.
You know?
I don't know. Honestly, I feel like I get more racism in America, but I feel like in America, more black people are more unified as one. Like, if you see a black person on the street, like, you're gonna smile at them and you're gonna be like, we're brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like when I see a black person in America, I'm like
Exactly.
what's up? Here, If you smile at a black person,
yeah.
they're just like, why are you staring? Like, why are you smiling at me?
Yeah, that definitely is something I've noticed. It's very different here. Because it goes back to what we were saying about people knowing their origins. Like, each group of people stays within their own group.
Yeah.
So if, like, you're from Mali or you're from Ghana or Nigeria, like, you hang out with people that are from the same country as you. So it's not like in the States you see a black person, like, I don't have to know you to be able to strike a conversation or say hi.
Yeah.
But there it's like, no, like, we're all French, but we still, like, stay in our specific groups.
Yeah. What's your take on, well, like, let's see, like, going to a party in France versus, like, a party in America?
Okay, you know, I actually went to one French party. I'm, like, so proud of myself because I was invited to a French house party, and I'm like, wow, I'm so honored. But it was definitely very different than in the States. It was nice. Everyone was talking, getting to know each other, like, actually having a conversation. Yeah, we had drinks, like, we were hanging out, but everyone was, like, talking, and it wasn't just, like, let's drink and listen to music and, like, not do anything really productive. Like, everyone was, like, so, like, how are you? Where are you from? Like, let's get to know each other. It's so much more social. Like, it was so much more social.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because I feel like everyone's like, oh, French people are so, like, closed off. They're not social. But I haven't had a bad experience with a French person here. So,
right.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I think it's very easy to be social here because you walk everywhere, so it's so easy to just, like, see people on the street and, you know, see your friends, like, hey, I have to go here, you have to go there, like, let's walk.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a lot easier to be social in real life, and in the States I feel like everything's, like, online.
Yeah. Like,
we'll make a plan online and then we'll meet after, but, like, it's never just, like, let's go outside and do something.
Yeah, and just, like, walk around or something. And I feel like, yeah, definitely when I'm at, like, a party here, like, the music is, like, turned down low so that people can talk.
Right.
Like, in America, like, the music is blasting, like, people are just going crazy, and it's just, like, literally, like, you're just drinking just to be drunk and, like, just, like, party. And here, it's, like, it's taken more seriously. It's, like, we're going to go to a party, but the party is like, oh my god, haven't seen you in so long, like, how's this,
right,
how's your cat, like, how's your garden doing, like, it's more in depth because people, like, care more here. And I feel like it is easier to, like, have deeper conversations faster. I mean, it is hard, especially, like, being American, because, like, first you have to get through that whole, like, you're American, what's America like? Oh my god, what's your president? Literally, like, what's your president doing today? Like, you have to get past all of that, which takes, like, 20 minutes, and then you can get into the deep stuff. But if you know the person already, or, like, you know the environment that you're going into, then, like, that's really what it is. It's, like, to talk about, like, life and deeper topics. But, like, parties here are just so much better. But I am happy to go see my little friends.
My little friends.
Y'all know who you are.
I guess I could spare a few moments to spend with them, I guess.
I do like my friends, and I would like to go see them. So I was thinking about it. I was like, oh my god, I haven't seen my friends in months, like nearly a year. And these are, like, my best friends that I would see all the time. But they are so, like, supportive of me. I told one of my friends I was coming home, and she was like, that's great, my best friend. That is so great that you're coming home, but, like, make sure you leave again, because like, you're meant to be traveling, and, like, I like to see you having adventures abroad. And I was like,
I love that. My friends are just like, yeah, so when are you coming home? Because, like, don't leave again.
How do you feel about, like, how was it, like, maintaining your friendships while being abroad?
Yeah,
because, you know, you're not seeing them, so it's like, do you fall off or do you keep in touch? Like, who did you lose? Anybody?
Yeah. I mean, it can definitely be difficult. I think it depends on, like, it depends on the kind of friends you have, because I know, like, there's friends that you just go out with and you hang out with and, like, you can catch up with, but it's not really, you know, you're not really super close. And then there's, like, your best friends, and my best friends and I have kept in contact. My best friend calls me every day when she's on her way to work. Sometimes if I have to wake up at 4 a.m. because it's like she's getting off work at 7 p.m. back home, like, that's just what we do. Like, we always, like, make time to talk to each other, and so I think that's very important. With family too, like, you kind of just have to make time. There's not really ever a good time for both people, especially, like, with the time difference, so you just have to make time when you have it. Even if it means I send you a text when I wake up at 8 a.m. and you don't respond until, like, 4 a.m. my time, like, that's how it is. But
That's so true.
Yeah, I'm glad that I have pretty good friends and that they've made an effort to keep in contact as much as I have. So.
I was honestly surprised. Do you want more wine?
Yes, please.
I was surprised by the amount of friends that continue to check up on me because I was like, oh my god, I'm leaving and like no one's going to talk to me and like I'm busy. Time difference is like a crazy thing and like I'm busy, you're busy, like are we ever going to like keep in touch? But like I have so many friends that like still make that conscious effort, even if it's like I'm just checking in, like I love you so much, like everybody's busy, but like just sending you love. And I'm like, okay, like that's good for me, like I love you. I don't take as much offense either like with people who like don't text me or anything, because like we're all just living our lives.
Right. Like I think that's important too, like just having friends that understand like we're all busy. Like I understand like we don't have to talk every day, we don't have to talk like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But just like at least like keep in contact.
Yeah.
Like, check on me once in a while, I'll check on you. Like I have all my friends' locations anyway, so like,
I'd be looking at my friends, I'm like,
right,
oh,
like,
they're
you
good.
haven't replied, like, oh, she's at work, like it's fine. Like she's good, she's alive.
She's
like,
alive.
Yeah. I love that. And it's been nice too, like even some friends that I like only just met recently or like we were never super close, like seeing like those people reach out to you too.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my god, hi.
Yeah, like when we went on lockdown and everyone was like, oh, Trump made the announcement of like everyone needs to come back home. So many people reached out to me and they were like, oh my god, how are you? Like, are you coming home? Are you safe? And I'm like,
wow, thank you for thinking about me.
Like, so
and
sweet.
people were like, I always talk about you, like my friend that lives in Paris, and I'm like, thank you, like that's nice, like I'm vibing over here. But like thanks so much. And yeah, people really did like reach out for like coronavirus, and people were like, oh my god, like are you okay, are you losing your mind? And I was like, I mean, aren't we all drinking throughout the day?
Everyone's stress baking, everyone's drinking, like I think it's fine. Anywhere I go, it's gonna be the same thing,
right?
So.
Literally, I was like, if I go back to America, then I'm just gonna be in lockdown in America, and I won't be drinking French wine and eating French cheese. Right. So, should I go back to America, or should I just stay here in France? And I'm glad that I stayed, because now I can actually go do things, and like, God, that first beer on tap, that draft beer, the first one.
It hit different. It really did.
Oh,
I cried a little bit.
The flavor. The flavor. Like, that was the first thing I did. I was like, I'm going to a bar and I'm getting a takeout beer immediately. And I sat by the end by myself. I actually got a beer to go from a cafe called Le Corona.
I remember that.
Le Corona. And I was like, it was the only place that was open, fittingly. And I went and got my beer and I sat on Pont Neuf for like 2 hours and I was like, cheers to life. Cheers to life, baby. And that was like the best day ever. I would never forget. So we did mention Trump earlier. So I was gonna ask you, like, what is your view on viewing American, like, politics in America from France? Because it's been crazy lately, especially being removed from like the scene and seeing it from just only your screen. Like, how has that been?
It's been wild. I mean, even when I was in the country, I disagreed with pretty much every single one of his policies. But I think being outside the country, it's made me see it like it made me see it in a different way, because my host family asked me all the time, like, how did you guys vote him in office? Like, how is he still there? How has he not been arrested? Like, he's literally destroying the country. Like, you're the laughing stock of the world. And I'm just like, wow. Like, I had an idea of what countries thought about us before I came here, but now to actually see it, it's like, it's pretty sad, honestly.
It is.
It makes me like sometimes not even want to say that I'm American.
I hate saying I'm American. Because it's just like, because when I'm in America, I'm like, this is nice. But like, when you're away from it, like, you see how people view it. And people are like, that's like the main thing that they want to talk about. It's like, oh my God, like Trump is your president and like things are crazy over there. And like, that's what they want to talk about, because here everything is like, if you don't have a fish store on your street, and like if you live in Paris and you don't have a fish store on your street and you go to the mayor of like your district, they will get you a fish store on your street. They'll be like, how will we get fish? We need to get fish somehow. We need a fish store. And they will get you a fish store. So like, and French people are really good at like fighting for what they want, and like they normally get what they want from like the protests and stuff. And like we've been fighting for rights for like, like hundreds of years.
Yeah.
And like we just don't get it. So it's just like, that's why it's like so interesting here. Like they don't understand like why no changes have been made.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely been interesting because I feel like for a long time, America has always been seen as like, oh, you're from America, that's so cool, like land of opportunity, I want to go there someday, and like you can be anything you want when you go there. But now, like, I think a lot of people's mindsets are shifting and they're seeing America for what it really is and realizing that it's not as great as like it's been portrayed as for the past, I don't know, 200 years, you know? So,
and people really do think that America is like so great. They're like, oh my god, I didn't know, because I'll say like, oh, there's a lot of homophobia there, and they're like, are you serious? Like, I would never imagine like there to be so much racism or homophobia there. And I'm like, no, it's really bad there. And like people don't understand because there's like this literal facade that people have like just been accustomed to like viewing America as, and they're just like, they see the movies and they see,
I was just gonna say that they see the movies and that's what they think. Like, they think of Hollywood. You tell someone you're from America, they're like, oh, Hollywood, or like Miami, New York City, like that's all they think about.
Football games, high school prom.
Yeah, like they don't see what actually goes on in America. And I feel like if you're not an American, then you don't know.
No. And like being here through like all the protests, and like we went to a protest here because like we gotta show our solidarity. I mean, like I would be protesting in America, but like honestly it's like better to protest here too right now because like one, it's, I would say safer, but like your friend got hit by a brick.
Yeah, my friend got hit by a brick. We got tear gassed. Like, it's definitely a lot safer than it is in the U.S., but it's still
crazy. It's still a protest, but like it is just really interesting to see like how we get our news and like how like our host families get their news and like what they see, because like my host family like really didn't know. And I was like, I came home one day and they were like, how are you? Not good. And they were like, why? And I'm like, because like my country is in shambles. And like they didn't understand. And when I told them, they were like, this is insane, like I cannot believe it. But like they don't get that same news here, because even like we get the New York Times sent to our house every day here, and it's not the American New York Times, it's like the French New York Times. So like a lot of it is filtered, and we'll get French news from the New York Times. And like somebody, because I saw on Instagram, somebody said like, oh, in today's edition of the New York Times, like we put a lot of people who like either I think like died from coronavirus and like what, like a sentence about their life. So I went to go find the newspaper article and I couldn't find it, and I went through like the whole week, and I was like, why can't I find it? And my host mom was like, oh, like it's filtered, like it's different, like not everything makes like the New York Times here. Yeah, so I was like, okay, so like literally the news is filtered, so you wouldn't even know a lot of the different things that happen.
It's definitely has been interesting, like going through some of the things that are happening in the States, like, but not being in the States has definitely been hard. Like, I remember you and I were sad for like a good week and a half, and it was just it was such a weird place to be in, because like no one around us understood. They knew what was going on, but they didn't understand, because one, they're not American, and two, they weren't black. So it's like you can't really relate to what I'm going through. So it was kind of difficult, like to go through something and feel like you're alone in going through that.
Tiana and I literally went, this sounds so spoiled and dramatic, but we were like at the Champ de Mars, which is like the park by the Eiffel Tower, and we like laid down. I was like literally crying, and we were just sad. And then we were at the Seine, and we were just sitting there like sad. We went to all like these amazing places in Paris, and we were just like literally sitting there just like sad about like black people and like the injustices that we face. And like because when you are black, like you feel it heavy, and it's not a normal feeling to have, because it's generations of like trauma, that like of ancestral trauma that like you feel. And like whenever this stuff is happening, and like I think it was like Blackout Tuesday that like we hung out or something like that, and like that was all we were seeing, and we were just like feeling just like the waves of like all these emotions, and like it's just so hard to deal with it, but like to deal with it and then also like still be on the front lines and like want to fight for justice.
Right. I feel like it was hard because we had just gotten over, I don't want to say gotten over because it's still an issue, but coronavirus was like on the forefront of our minds.
Yeah.
And then this happened, and I feel like my mindset kind of shifted, and I was not worried. I wasn't even thinking about coronavirus anymore because I was just so upset about what was going on. So it was just so interesting to be living in a world where like everyone's worried about coronavirus. Like that's your biggest problem is like this virus that's like taking over the world. But I'm like, I'm trying to deal with coronavirus. I'm also trying to deal with like this heavy feeling that I have that I can't talk to anyone about because no one here understands.
No one understands.
Yeah, it was very difficult for sure.
Not to resurface this actual trauma about leaving France and not wanting to leave France, but we are at the end of our first year in France. And I know that we're both coming back because I'm gonna land in New York and I'm gonna literally probably just get back on the flight.
Actually, I'm gonna turn around
and like start that like 3 months tourist visa,
right? And
just come right back and figure it out because like I literally cannot leave France. Like I don't know. I just don't want to at all. But I have like I don't know like 4 more weeks here, which is like sick and like disgusting. But I wanted to talk about like your happiest moment in France.
Aww.
And like your saddest moment because there's been a lot of sad ones.
Oh god,
been a lot of sad ones, but like start on a happy note.
Oh my gosh,
happiest
that's a good
moment.
question. I've had so many happy moments. Like
Literally.
I don't even know if I could like pinpoint just like one moment. There's been so many good times I've had here.
I'll say like a really good moment. I'm not sure if this is like my happiest moment, but like after the deconfinement, like Tiana and I got Lime scooters. We woke up at 4:30 in the morning and we got Lime scooters and rode around the city and like I was like just so happy looking around. Like we went past the Louvre, like nobody was like up this early. It was sunrise and I remember I looked at you and I was like, are you good? And you were like, just taking it all in. And I was like,
yeah, that was a
too.
really good day. That was a really happy moment. I think one of my, definitely not like the top happiest, but one of my happiest moments here was after deconfinement as well. Mm-hmm. And I think it was like the first day that I went out after deconfinement and I hung out with a friend and we got takeaway beers at like this bar right along the canal and everybody was outside. It was such a sunny day. Everyone was being so friendly and like striking up conversation with strangers on the street just because like nobody had been outside for months.
Literally months.
So it was just so nice to just be outside and remember like, wow, like I'm in Paris. Like,
right?
This is crazy. And actually have human interaction and get to enjoy the sun and see a different part of Paris. So that was definitely nice.
There were so many like I've had so many happy moments.
Yeah, there's too many to count, honestly.
It's like we were lucky.
Yeah, definitely were.
Cause yeah,
I'm so sad. Like that question made me a little bit sad.
I'm also sad because I don't want to leave love. I'm like, okay, sad moments. Like there were some sad moments, but okay, I know my saddest moment when we knew we were going on lockdown.
That was bad.
We knew we were going on lockdown and like Tiana and I like were like, okay, we're gonna go get
Oh my god, that was so dramatic. Looking back now, I'm like, okay, was it really that deep?
Dramatic. So dramatic. We like got our like normal like prosciutto and freaking cheese and wine and we sat on a bench with the sun and she goes, this was like a good place to cry. And I was like, yeah. And we just
sat there in our feelings and we're like sad and sat with it.
And we sat there for a long time and then this guy literally who's sitting right on the same bench as us goes, so where are y'all from? 30 minutes into our like depressing conversation, us like laughing and making like sarcastic jokes about like life, and he goes, where are y'all from? And we were like, oh, like California, Florida. He was like, just got here today. And when Tiana and I looked at each other, we're like, just got here today.
I know, like, why are you here? We're about to go on lockdown.
Tomorrow is the beginning of lockdown. Like, why are you here? And he had not a care in the world. He was going to go see Paris.
I know. I was like, oh, this is like not a good time to be here. He's like, yeah, I know. The weather's really bad. I was like, that's not what I was referring to, but okay, like your optimism.
I was like, it's not bad. The lockdown starts tomorrow. But yeah, the weather isn't good. I will say that.
Like, there's not really like taboo subjects in France.
No.
Or like at least the things that like you probably wouldn't talk about with a stranger, like you can talk about with French people and it's not like weird or anything.
No, they want to talk about it all.
Yeah.
But like, so like you'll talk about the weather in depth. They'll talk about like sex in depth. Oh my god.
Yeah.
They
Not
do
a
not
care in the
care.
world.
They will talk about their sex life like it's like literally nothing. In America, you're like not talking about your sex like life at the dinner table with like your friends. And like here, that's like normal.
Literally the first week that I got here, my host family was like, so like, I don't know if you use Tinder, but like, it's mostly just for sex friends. Like, I don't know how it is in the States, but like, that's what it's used for here. But if that's your thing, like, that's totally fine. I just want you to know, like, that's what that's for. And I was like, sex? Like, what is that?
Literally,
Never heard of it.
Do not know that word. How has your style changed since being in France?
That's a good question.
Because I know we've done a lot of shopping.
Yeah, we have done a lot of shopping. I feel like it definitely has changed. I feel like it's a lot more, like, minimalist, I want to say.
Exactly.
But also, like, I don't know. Like, my outfits are more simple, but they look like they're more put together than it would be in the States.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Definitely.
Like, in the States, I lived in Arizona, so it was always hot. So I was always wearing just, like, a crop top and shorts or, like, you know, a t-shirt and jeans. But here, it's, like, people value, like, their fashion sense, but they're also not, like, overly, like, materialistic about it.
No.
So, yeah, I feel like it's definitely changed for sure.
I value every like purchase I make is very mindful of like, can I wear this in like a few years, and like will I have this in my wardrobe for a long time, because French people wear the same clothes every week. Like it's like they have like 7 outfits that are good quality and then they repeat them.
I was just gonna say, I feel like in the US everything is like fast fashion. Like you wear what's trending, and then when it's not trending you don't wear it anymore. And here it's definitely not like that at all. Honestly, I couldn't tell you one article of clothing that I have back home that I don't even think about it. I don't remember what I even have.
Right?
But
And
back
if you can't
then
remember
it was
your clothes, then like you don't need them.
But back then it was like, oh my god, no, I need to keep this. Like I need that. I'm gonna wear that. But like I honestly could not tell you one thing that I have back home, because it's like I really don't need all the stuff that I have.
No. I just need a few sweaters, long sleeve shirts, a good few dresses.
Exactly.
And I'm good. And I feel like French people really value that, and like they know that they want to have pieces that they can wear all the time and that are just like never gonna go out of style. And like I think that's what I will take away from like French style for sure.
It's gonna sound so crazy, but like everyone's just so laid back, like compared to the States, which is weird because like everyone says French people are so stuck up, like they're so like busy, they're not friendly, but like no, honestly everyone's
so
laid back.
relaxed.
Like people will take their lunch breaks here, they'll go into work like, oh, I'll go in at like 9, you know, whenever I feel like getting there I'll get there. I'll take my lunch break, I'll take my time. If it takes an hour, it takes an hour. If it takes an hour and a half, like it takes an hour and a half. Like I'm not in any rush. Like your work is not your whole identity. Like you have hobbies outside of what you do for work. So I think that's one thing that I can take away. Also, like they really value dinner time with everybody, and that's like one thing that is very important to me, like since I've been here, because I never had that. Like my family and I never ate dinner together at the table.
We don't eat dinner together.
And so that's like the highlight of our night now, because everyone can talk about like, oh, what did you do today? What was like your favorite part of your day? And so yeah, I think that's very
I love
important.
dinner time. I was gonna say probably dinner time and like French like food, like culture, and like how much people like value food here. There's a lot of different things that like in the household in a French culture that like I'll take away from, which I'm definitely gonna miss, but like I know that that's something I'm gonna take with me.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And baking everything like by scratch, because like I before I came here always got boxed cake.
Same, yeah.
Boxed cake.
Same.
And now I could
is,
never
like,
imagine
done
it.
by scratch.
You make everything from scratch here. You make your mayo from my host that makes the mayonnaise from scratch. Like everything is like you just make it, and it doesn't. It's not like it takes that long, and it's more economical because like you get more for your money.
That kind of feeds into like another thing that I like about France is that I feel like in the US everything is like I want something as fast as possible. Like I want food, but I want it as fast as possible. I just want to drive through a place to get my stuff. I need to go to the bank. I'm just going to drive through the bank. Pharmacy, just going to drive through. And here it's like, no, you take your time. You need to go to the pharmacy. You walk to the pharmacy. You
talk
go
to the
inside.
pharmacist.
Right. You get
Say
your
hello.
stuff. You have to go to the bank. You walk to the bank. Like there's no drive-thrus here. That's not a thing.
No.
Like even if you want coffee in the morning, it's not like in the US you go to Starbucks and you drink your coffee on the go. Like you actually sit down here, have your coffee, and then when you're done, you go on about your day. Like I enjoy that people here take their time and they're not so much like go all the time.
Yeah. It's like you enjoy life here.
Yeah.
You're not just like aiming to go to the next thing. It's like we're gonna relax and we're gonna enjoy this now moment, which is like something that I always already like to do, but now being here and being in a culture that also values it.
Yeah, that's what I've always been that type of person too, but in the US it's like, no, like you have to be busy all the time, you have to be working. If you're not working, then you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
And here it's like, well, what do you enjoy doing? Like, what are your hobbies?
They don't care about what you do for work. They're like, what do you enjoy doing? And like in America, you'd be like, oh my god, I enjoy this, I don't know.
You're like, I don't have time to enjoy anything because I'm working all the time.
And they're like, okay, well, like that's not all you should be doing. And people are like, oh, I worked all weekend. You shouldn't be working on the weekend. You should be enjoying your weekend. So like they really do like value like life, which and I do. So maybe I should stay.
I should just be French.
I should be French. Anyways, I think that's enough for today.
I think we covered every possible topic
and more and more. So thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you watch Tiana's video on her channel. See you when I see you. Cheers to that. Cheers to that. Vive la France. We are just having a conversation.
We just have lots to talk about.
Tiana and I would be up till like 4 in the morning. She's like on Twitter DMing me like stuff. She's like, check your phone. I'm like, the light. Okay.
That is so funny.
I'm like, yeah, I'm looking. Wow, I cannot believe it. Check this TikTok.
Like we could be talking about nothing.
Nothing.
Like, it doesn't take any like mental stimulation.
I'm not trying to give you my brain cells. I want to keep my own brain cells. Tiana be leaving me on red all the time.
The shade, I do though.
I'm like, oh, I wonder if she saw my text read at 20:54. I'm like, okay, cool.
I'm working on it. Okay.
She will be doing better.
I will.
She will be doing better. Okay. We could go to a nude beach probably here.
Probably. Do they have those here?
They must in the south.
Probably. I'm sure
we have
they
to go
do.
to the south.
Yeah, we have to.
Next weekend.
I know.